When I was living in Mexico last year, I used to buy these peanuts, okay? Chili and lime peanuts. They were delicious. But I used to eat so much of them that I was starting to get fat tatas. So I was like, well, I better relax on them for a while. So I stopped buying them. About a week later on my Instagram, I had an ad for these peanuts. Now, these peanuts are very niche. You can only get them in Mexico, and you can only get them in certain places in Mexico. So I spoke to someone else after, and they said, oh, well, probably the store that you bought it in or your Visa, like your credit card company, were selling that information to marketing companies in order to target you. And like, maybe I'm just being naive, but I remember thinking, that's crazy. There's no way they're doing that. Anyway, fast forward. I was on a flight there last week, and I was reading an article from a guy who works at the Washington Post. And I have the article, and I want to read it to you. How it started off with, this guy realized that Alexa was recording all of the conversations and everything that was going on in his house. And he found out that Amazon actually had 4 years worth of recordings. And this was stuff like conversations about medical stuff, prescriptions, personal conversations, business meetings, all of the above. This guy went on then to write an article about it and deep dive into tracking your information and tracking your data. And I thought this was wild. So we found out then corporations were paying millions and millions of dollars. All these different data brokers were paying all of this money to get information. And that could include like flight records, doctors, everything you think of, tax records. How some of it works was, do you know when you get an extension, you're browsing a website and then an add-on pops up on your screen? And it's something that we never read, and we just click OK.
Allow cookies.
Yeah, right. Every time that you click allow on that, you're allowing this extension to read everything that's on that website that you're looking at. It allows it to read every other website that you view, and it also can read the top bar where you put in the whatever website you're looking at. Well, when you log into something with your password, it will show sometimes the password in that bar. Also, another thing that he noted, you know when you go onto a website and it will say log in with Facebook or log in with Google. When you allow that to happen, it allows Google and Facebook then to track everything that you're looking at. Also, a couple of interesting points that it went on was apps. So when you have an app on your phone, other companies, Google, would put trackers into these apps. This is the one that I thought was so weird. You know, like a normal app you would have in your house, like for a thermostat. He had a thermostat where you could control it from his phone, or the garageway. It was all on an app. Anytime someone walked past the thermostat, it would take a record of someone walking past it and send that information off every 15 minutes. And the same thing with the garage door. Every time someone would come in, it would send that information. So from all of the apps he had, the Alexa thing and everything else, somebody would know for the last 4 years, every single time a human being is in that house, what time of the day they're in that house. They would know how many people are in the house. They would know everything about their records, their taxes, their flight information. I mean, if that got into the wrong hands, holy Jesus Christ.
Like, everyone has heard echoes of this in recent years. Like, everyone's aware of the fact your phone potentially listens to your keywords and shows you adverts in relation to what you're saying. But when you look at the stuff you're saying there and how really invasive that is, people don't want to know in a way, because we are obsessed as a society with consuming.
You made a good point there. Let's say you buy Lululemon tops on Amazon and also like supplements. So companies are starting to think, okay, this person is looking to get into shape. So they might target you with like health clubs, gyms, personal trainers, all this kind of stuff. You can say that's relatively harmless. But where it gets weird, and also other stuff that I read in the article, was, let's say you bought a motorcycle, right? Or you like to do a lot of risky kind of things. They'll use that information to sell to insurance companies, and insurance companies then will hike up your interest rates because they see that you bought a motorcycle or you take part in these kind of activities. Let's say you buy a lot of like fancy goods or luxury products. They'll also send that information to the banks because you're more susceptible to buy stuff, that the banks will start giving you better rates on loans, and it just gets really creepy, man. It's a $200 billion industry, and like, why are you not getting some of those dollars? Like, it's crazy that it happens. You've no idea that it happens. It's so invasive. It's weird. You're not making any money, and there's industries that are making billions off of it.
Facebook's whole kind of business model is built on data, like collecting data, selling data, advertising to people. And, you know, all these platforms are free. And I heard a saying that makes so much sense. If you're not paying for the product or service, then you are the product.